Hey everybody, what's going on? Meister here. Welcome back to Gasparilla County. It's been quite a while since I've launched this map, but here we are. I'm playing this map for the first time post Economy 2.0, and I was really hoping that there was going to be a massive spike in demand of residential, commercial, whatever, but it doesn't seem to be the case. My demand has remained rather stagnant. And really the only big change that I saw in this city post Economy 2.0 is I'm just losing quite a bit more money. That's about it. So I'm gonna have to figure out what to do to boost our demand. And you know, the fact that I'm kind of dealing with this issue really emphasizes the challenges with building an aesthetic city in Cities Skylines 2. So you know, Gasparilla County was always meant to be an aesthetics first kind of city where I focus on building a very, you know, Florida style city first and then dealing with, you know, all of the potential issues the city could have afterwards. But I think we're gonna have to rearrange that. I'm gonna have to flip it upside down and we're gonna have to deal with all of these economic issues, these demand issues firsthand, and then we can focus on the aesthetics. But for this episode, I am more or less going to be preparing for whatever we're gonna have to do to stabilize our economy and to boost demand. So what I'm working on right now is on the very northern section of this map, there's kind of like a peninsula looking part of the map. And this map, or this area, was originally supposed to be based off of like Bradenton, Florida, and I wasn't really going to build anything north of Bradenton inspiration-wise. But then, due to this area having like this peninsula-looking feature, I guess, it led me to say, hey, you know what? Why don't I build St. Pete? And I'm gonna call it St. Patricksburg. But it's essentially going to be St. Petersburg in Florida. And the reason why I'm doing this is because, you know, I don't want this entire map to only feature some very flat, you know, just endless suburbs. I want there to be a little bit of, you know, something interesting. So downtown St. Petersburg is where you're going to find, or St. Patricksburg, I should say, is where you're going to find all of the tall buildings that I'm going to be placing later in this episode, in the hopes that some of these specialized buildings and whatnot are going to stimulate some sort of demand increase, you know, whether it be commercial or residential. I'm not sure what it's going to do yet, but it's going to help the economy for one. And if we can really jumpstart the city and really get it going, so I can build out some more suburbs comfortably, that's my hope for this episode. But to start with that, I have to lay down a ton of infrastructure. So right here you can see me, I'm building a whole set of highways, and I'm building them in such a way that it is very similar to the highway structure around St. Petersburg. So here we have I-95 that is intersecting with, I forget which interstate it is, but this will essentially lead to the Sunshine Skyway Bridge, I believe it's called, which I've crossed a number of times in real life, and it's always a really interesting bridge to go over. It's very scenic, very interesting. So yeah, I'm gonna build that in this episode. There will be a number of inaccuracies in this episode as to like the highways and stuff that you may find around the St. Petersburg area. Like the main arterial highway running north to south on this map, I-95, doesn't necessarily run anywhere near St. Petersburg. It's just kind of on the mainland east of Tampa. But in this city, it's going to almost run right through the middle of the city. So yeah, there's gonna be some little inaccuracies with that. But overall, I'm really going to try to focus to get that same look. You know, I'm going to try to build a similar city that looks close to St. Petersburg. So right now I'm doing just that. I'm building the Sunshine Skyway Bridge. It's going to be set over a number of little islands and archipelagos kind of thing. And then we'll have like the main bridge at one point. So the first section of this video will be totally in time-lapse mode as I set everything up, lay down all of my infrastructure required to actually get started on the city. And we're going to go into some live play a bit later on. So there was a fair bit of roads to lay down because I really want to hit the ground running with this city. I want to build a very convincing looking downtown, very similar to St. Petersburg, maybe on a little bit of a bigger scale. Maybe it's going to contain a few more taller buildings than the real St. Petersburg in real life, because downtown is actually surprisingly small in St. Pete, despite the size of the city. It's a relatively large city, but it's still, very flat, typical Floridian city. So I'm gonna try to keep that urban sprawl kind of feeling in this city, but there may be a little bit more density near the downtown area than what you would find in actual St. Pete. But yeah, I'm really excited to get started on this city. It's gonna be pretty cool, and we'll see how the series progresses post Economy 2.0. Now, I've been getting quite a few comments in this series saying that I should download some more mods, such as the Infinite Demand mod, and I forget what else off the top of my head, but I've been getting a ton of suggestions that I should download some extra mods for this game, or for this series more specifically. And I don't want to install too many game-changing mods. I still want this city to develop naturally. I still want to actually play the game as it was intended to be played, overcoming all kinds of obstacles and issues. For instance, here, like, the city is kind of stagnant at the moment, right? I don't have any demand of anything whatsoever. So I actually want to try to figure out the cause of this problem whilst actually building an aesthetic city. So it's going to be a little bit more challenging to do it that way. But it's going to be more rewarding as well, and it's going to make for some interesting content, I think. So right now, what I'm thinking to get our demand rolling, to get our economy stabilized, is I'm playing with unlocked everything, and that means all of my signature buildings, which are free, are unlocked. So I'm going to start by plopping a number of those buildings in the downtown area of St. Patricksburg, in an effort to, attract something to the city. You obviously need to make your city an attractive place to live, to encourage people to move in, and there needs to be things in your city to attract people to live, right? So I'm gonna start by plopping down some parks, a bunch of services, as well as some signature buildings and maybe some tourist attractions as well, to really stimulate the economy in this area. Because of course, just starting a random city in the middle of nowhere, when you've already started a pretty successful city, is a bit of a challenge, right? And especially doing that when you don't have a ton of money in the bank. Right now I only have 45 million. I think I'm losing maybe about 100K per month, give or take. I'm not really sure. It's gonna be a little bit of a challenge. But thankfully, we still have loans in the game that we can resort to. Or worst case scenario, I'll just take on unlimited money and we'll just play with that until we can stabilize everything. Because I certainly wouldn't want this city to fail. That would be pretty disastrous. So yeah, like I was saying, there is a ton of road infrastructure to lay down. So now I'm going to focus on the actual downtown area of St. Petersburg, or St. Patricksburg, I gotta remember to call it. And the idea for this city, as I was building it, is I kind of felt like it was developing into what a GTA kind of city would look like. It's as if like Rockstar was to create Tampa/St. Petersburg. I think this is similar to what it would look like. Imagine what Los Angeles looked like in GTA 5. It was kind of like a minuscule version of that city with all of the important landmarks and all of the the more famous areas of the city. That's kind of what I'm gonna go with in St. Patricksburg, just because I'm so limited on space up here. You know, the city is quite close to the edge of the map on a literal little peninsula. So I'm very, very constrained on space, and it's gonna make this challenging too. But I think it's gonna look cool. So realism is gonna take a little bit of a hit in this city, but not really that much. I mean, I still think the city is going to develop into this really cool place, but just keep in mind that, you know, this city is going to be like way overdeveloped for the size that it's going to become. So there's going to be like these massive highways and interchanges all throughout this city, but size wise, it's going to remain quite a small city, and it won't be on such a realistic scale, just like the actual Gasparilla city that I started at the beginning of this series. But that's okay. You know, I'm really excited to get started on this city, and it's gonna be really cool to cram a mini version of the entire western or southwestern shore of Florida on a single map. So we're gonna have all the way from like Venice, Florida to, you know, at the end of the series, it's gonna be really cool to have every town, every city, all the way from like Naples to St. Petersburg. Because at the end of the city, it's going to be cool to have a miniature version of the entire southwestern shore of Florida. So we're going to have everything from Naples, Florida, up to downtown St. Petersburg and every city in between. And it's going to be really, really cool. And again, just like I stated in the beginning of this series, if you guys know of any famous landmarks or things that I should include in any one of the cities between those two places, between St. Petersburg and Naples, everything in between, I'm gonna try to feature like every prominent city. But if there's any landmarks in between those two places that I should feature in the city, let me know, guys. I really like when the locals give me tips on places I should check out and build things off of. So feel free, guys. Just let me know down in the comments. And what I'm doing here is I'm building the highway infrastructure in St. Patricksburg to look similar to St. Petersburg. And again, this was super hard to do just because of the space constraint. But if you take a look at the highway situation, or the highway schematics of St. Petersburg, and then check out what I've built at the end of this episode, you'll see that I think I've done a fair job at recreating the highway network, or a miniature version of it in St. Pat's in Cities Skylines. So let me know how I did in the comments, guys, at the end of this video on how well I recreated this road network. Now, it would have been really cool to include Tampa in this series, and I technically could if I installed some extra mods that would give me access to the entire map. I could make a city that would resemble Tampa, but I'm still just playing with the default map size. And honestly, I don't really want to make the map any bigger at the moment, because that would be quite ambitious. It would just make this project way too big. So we're gonna start things off with downtown St. Petersburg and then work our way down. I think that's going to be the plan for this series. But again, we'll just have to see what kind of obstacles we're going to face along the way. We might have to completely change our approach. You know, maybe there's going to be a massive commercial spike and I'll have to work on a big shopping area in Sarasota, for example. You know, so we'll just have to see how the city develops and what goes on. But for now, we're focusing on roads. We're going to get some highways laid down. We're going to get all the necessary infrastructure in place. And then we'll figure things out as we progress. So St. Petersburg in Florida has quite a unique highway layout. For example, you have the I-275 running north to south throughout the entire city. And then you have little highway spurs on either side of downtown. So you have the 375 on the northern end, and then you have the 175 on the southern end. And downtown is just kind of contained between those two highways. So I guess it makes the downtown area more accessible by car, but it just creates a pretty unique highway situation. And we're going to recreate that in St. Patricksburg as well. but just on a much smaller scale. So for the next few minutes, I'm going to work away at this highway infrastructure. So sit back, relax, and enjoy a couple tunes, guys. And I'll check in with you in just a moment, and we'll get started at actually building the city. Okay, here we are in the live play, and we're ready to get started on our new city, St. Patricksburg. And the very first thing that I must do is lay down some essential services to get started, starting with electricity. Now, just like the actual city of Gasparilla, I will be importing 100% of my power. So I am simply going to plop a transformer station over here, and then we'll connect some power lines to the edge of the map. This is likely going to be a temporary setup, but as the city expands and whatever, we can move this around. This is just so we can get things started. And plus, we're probably going to want to get into some sort of power plant sooner rather than later, because importing electricity is quite expensive. And speaking of expenses, I'm really going to have to watch my budget in this episode, because I have less than 45 million in the bank at this point. And it won't be long before I'm losing more than $1 million a month. So it's going to be tight. So I'll have to be really frugal while we get the city started, but I'm really hopeful that hopefully we can turn things around rather quickly and actually start to make money. So now let's get into water. I think I'm just going to start things off nice and simple with a water tower, which I am going to plop right here, and then I'll simply draw a road out to the tower, just like so, and that should connect everything up. No, it looks like it, not quite. All right. Oh yeah, now we need to deal with sewage. Now, I don't think I want to place a wastewater treatment plant right away. We're actually doing quite well in wastewater treatment, and I got a wastewater treatment plant over here in Gasparilla. Why is garbage piling up? I think that's a bug, guys. Because even in Bixton, I'm having that problem despite being like way good as far as garbage processing. Well, maybe not. I think I'm importing everything at the moment, which is causing us issues. Actually, I should probably take a look at my city policies just to make sure that, yeah, I definitely want to import city services, I think. Because garbage is going to start piling up pretty quickly here if I don't, because I don't have any landfills or anything. So anyway, I'm going to enable importing city services. Hopefully that's not going to like break the bank for me. Oh my god. Service trade. Oh my god, I'm importing like everything, guys. Okay, let's turn that off. Okay, and I may have to well, let's see here. Let's maybe take a look if I can plop a, not a landfill, but a recycling center perhaps. 80,000 a month in upkeep. Oy, that's expensive. Well, I don't know. I'm not having any garbage issues elsewhere in the city. It's just this one building. So, I don't know. I think I'm just going to leave this as is for now. If I notice that there's more garbage piling up, then I'll do something about it. But I think everything's hunky-dory right now. So, my garbage is getting dealt with some way. So, anyway, carrying on here, I think what I'm going to do, I think what my best option is just to tap into my wastewater treatment facility over here. So I'm just going to extend this pipe I'm gonna run it right in between the median of I-75. And I'm just gonna run it up right into St. Patricksburg. Hopefully this is not too far. I don't know if there's a distance limit on these wastewater treatment plants. Hopefully not, because I really want to avoid plopping a second one. So now let's branch off into this direction. We'll get this hooked up to our bridge over here, which, by the way, is called the Sunny Bay Bridge. So as I was renaming all of my roads here, this is I-275, by the way. This bridge automatically got named Sunny something Bridge. I forget what it was now, and I just renamed it to Sunny Bay Bridge. I really like that name, so this is now officially the Sunny Bay Bridge, which is rather fitting. So let's connect everything up here. We'll just have to go underwater, connect these two segments, and then keep running this right to here. Oh, what's going on here? Okay, well, I guess this is where anarchy comes in, and bloop, there we go. So everything should be hooked up, I believe. We got some fresh water that's flowing, and no sewage is flowing. I think it might actually be too far. Let's just double check here to make sure that everything's hooked up. So we do have some sewage coming from these buildings, so then this segment works. These two pipes are clearly connected. And then, I mean, this was like one straight run, so there shouldn't be any breaks in the line here. We have a 90 over here. This is connected as well. Over here to the bridge, everything seems connected. Going up as well. I mean, that's a pretty steep connection. Luckily, there's no pipes that are actually showing. Now, why would there be no pipes above this section of bridge? That's a little weird, but it's fine. And then, yeah, everything's connected here. So I think it's just a matter of being too far, guys. I think that's the problem. So I'm going to have to bite the bullet. Oh my God, okay. Oof, that scared me for a second. I thought it was 400 grand a month in upkeep, but it's 60 grand a month in upkeep, and it can process 400 cubic meters a month. So I think we're just gonna have to bite the bullet and absorb the extra cost of this building somehow. But oi, this is really expensive. So I'm just gonna plop this right by the shoreline, and there we go. I'm not gonna apply any upgrades to this building yet. We certainly do not want to do that. Let's check our budget. Oof, yeah, we're going to surpass 1 million is right, and it's not gonna take very long. What's the problem here? Oh, I don't think this is connected right. Yeah, for some reason my sewer pipe didn't get connected. Here, let's fix that. Oh, wait a minute. It's because I don't need a sewer pipe here. Let's do this. There we go. Because this is only supplying water. It doesn't actually need any sewage treatment. So there we go. Now next, let's take care of our healthcare. And of course, being budget conscious, I'm just going to want to start with a small medical clinic, which I am going to plop, I think, right over here. Oh, looks like these roads are not too happy with the hospital being here, but that's okay. I'm just going to use anarchy to work around that. And there is our new clinic, guys. These are the new clinics that were released as the new detailers patch that just came out. So really exciting that we have these new buildings. We only have a capacity of 25, and the city is going to grow quite rapidly. So once we cap out, I'll just plop a hospital somewhere downtown and call it a day. Education now, I'm certainly going to want to place an elementary school and high school at least to begin with. So let's get started with an elementary school over here. Got lots of room for this building. And what kind of upgrades do we have? We have an extension wing and a gymnasium. I think I'm going to plop a gym at the very least. It's only 2,000 a month, and we have some really nice perks from it. So I think I'm just going to plop it right here in the middle of this block. And then let's take a look if we can plop some parking lots, because after all, this is Florida. And look at these really exciting new parking lots that we have access to, guys. Look at this. This is beautiful. Actually, I think what I'll do here is I'll take a small road, run it in behind just like this, and then I'm gonna rotate this 180 degrees. And I may as well plop another one on this side. And there we have it. We have a complete elementary school here. Now let's go ahead and plop a high school as well, of the small variety, of course, being extremely budget conscious at the moment. And I think I'm just gonna put this one down over here. And as far as upgrades, I don't need an extension wing yet, but I think a sports park would be kind of cool. It's only 1,500 a month, and it gives us some really nice perks. So I am just gonna plop it in back here. Wow, it's a little bigger than I expected. But we can assume that this park is going to be shared amongst other buildings in the vicinity, maybe. Maybe we can have like a college campus over here or something. That might be pretty cool. But yeah, let's start off with that. Let's check our budget. Oh, we're over $1 million in debt each month. Not ideal, so we're gonna want to start building this new city rather quickly. But not before we get into some fire protection. Obviously, that's very important. And with this being downtown, and this urban firehouse being not too expensive, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and plop this right downtown. And this is a wall-to-wall building. It's not a corner building, so I think I'll have to plop it in the middle of a block, and then we can have some nice, maybe some mixed zoning on either side. What kind of upgrades do we have for this building? Oh, there's none. Okay. Then last but not least, let's plop a police station. Oh man, this urban police station looks really cool. It would be really exciting to have this downtown. But it's expensive. It's really unnecessary. But you know what, guys? I think the aesthetics are gonna prevail in this episode, and I think we're gonna have to do an urban police station. So what I'll do is just build a small road like this, and then I'll put the police station like this. And this building is so cool, guys, because it looks very governmental. It almost looks like it could be a city hall of some sort. Kind of looks like Boston City Hall, really. And then of course we have a helipad upgrade, which, oh my god, is almost as expensive as the building as itself. But I think that'll do it. So there we go. We have all of our essential services. Actually, no, we can't forget death care. But you know what? I think I'm not gonna place any death care in St. Patricksburg yet, because we still have plenty of capacity in our cemeteries from Gasparilla. The hearses will just have to do a little bit of a little drive out to St. Patricksburg for the time being. So there we go. There is all of our essential services to get started. Maybe we can go ahead and plop a couple of parks too, just to maybe make things more enticing for new immigrants to this city. So let's maybe start off with a new park. Now we have this long strip here that I intend to just build a bunch of parks in here. Not really sure how I'm gonna do that yet, but oh, this actually fits perfectly. Look at that, guys. This nice round park in front of the urban police station. This would be perfect to get started with. So let's do some pavement paths. I'm gonna turn off snapping, and let's build ourselves a nice park here. Oh, is this gonna be too short? Yeah, I think it will be. But I think that's fine. This is a really nice park. And then I think what I'll do here is I have surfaces. So I can go here and fill in this entire block with some nice grass textures. Nice manicured grass. Oh, looks like I'll have to do anarchy and bloop, there we go. That looks fantastic. And then for good measure, why don't I go ahead and plop down some nice couple of oak trees in here, you know, nice mature trees, because this is downtown after all. Very historic it would be. I don't want to overdo it. And then maybe we can have a couple of Florida palms as well. To get that nice tropical look. There, and we have ourselves a nice beautiful park here in downtown. So unfortunately, it looks like all of these nice services that I've plopped down have done nothing but increase our monthly debt. It has done nothing at all to my demand. So let's just take a look here. What kind of situation are we dealing with as far as demand? We have a ton of high density residential demand, and then we unfortunately have no demand in everything else. So I'm not really sure what is going on here, why this is the case. Maybe our taxes are set too high, because I think I raised them at some point. Take a look here. Yeah, taxes are not really high at all. They're rather low. And I'm kind of reluctant to lower them anymore. But I guess let's maybe give it a try. Let's lower taxes in pretty much everything. Let's maybe lower residential tax as well. Let's get started with that, and we'll see what kind of effect it has. And I suppose to get started, I am going to go into my residential signature buildings, and I was looking at this colossal tower, which looks very Florida-esque. And I think if I can plop this downtown, it's probably gonna quash most, if not all, of our high density demand. It doesn't say how many people can fit in this tower, but probably a couple hundred at least. So I'm gonna go ahead and plop it right here because it fits nicely within this block. And let's see what it does. Let's speed up the simulation. Oh, there goes the demand. How many people can we fit in here? 650. Wow, this is a huge tower, and that alone has completely decimated all of my demand. Now I do have a ton of industrial demand as well. I'm not really sure what to do as far as industrial goes. You know, for functionality's sake, I'm gonna have to build a harbor somewhere in St. Patricksburg. But where is the question? You know, I don't want to build it on any of these keys. You know, keys are usually reserved for nice housing, golf courses, you know, all the nice things. And I don't want to build it near downtown either, because it'll produce a ton of pollution. Perhaps we can build it, you know, somewhere on the west end of town over here. I think that's what I'm gonna have to do. Maybe build a little industrial park here. Let's go ahead and do that just to get things started. And then maybe we can readjust things as the city grows, and we can, you know, rezone some of these areas. So, oops, kind of messed up my curve here. There, not really sure how much an effect this is going to have. but let's get a little industrial park going. Get the economy rolling at least. And most of St. Patricksburg is going to be residential, so I'll just make sure to have a buffer between this industrial zone. Make sure that the residents are not going to be affected by the pollution. But look at that, guys. It's not even touching my demand. Holy, what's going on? I wonder if there's not like a bug or something. Cause like, this is kind of odd that I have no demand in anything. The only thing negatively impacting my residential demand is unoccupied buildings, but that is simply because I have a ton of buildings over here that are unoccupied. A lot of them are occupied, but there's still quite a few of these houses that have no residents. In fact, a lot of them have become abandoned. As you can see here, I got all of these empty zones all throughout these neighborhoods. So something is clearly wrong here, guys. Maybe you guys can shed some light on what's going on here. Maybe if we check some of our city statistics, we can take a look at what's happening. Money, of course, is going down. Income. Okay, these are taxes. So I did raise taxes at one point, and I lowered them again. Service fees are on the rise a little bit. Crime rate, is crime too high? We're still at like a 15% crime rate, which is kind of high, but we're trending downwards, which is good. Education, our postal service seems okay. We have 0 public transportation, but it's Florida, so I don't really want to include any. Tourists, oh, we have a fair amount of tourists coming to town. Income from tourists. Oh my god, this is actually bringing in a ton of money from tourism. Wow. And hotels, we have none. And our wealth is going up. Companies. You know, we're expanding, you know, the economy's rolling somewhat. I'm not really sure, guys. What if I lower taxes even more? Maybe just for residential? Like, I'm losing a ton of money. I don't really want to lower them more than I have to. But I have like 0 demand. Maybe let's continue to work on the skyline and we can figure this out. So let's maybe create some jobs artificially by plopping down some more buildings. Oh, look at that. I got some office demand, guys. You know what? I'm just gonna go right into it. Let's get a big old skyscraper here in downtown. I think I'm gonna plop a zone. Let's do right here. I don't want to have a massive building spawning up right now because, you know, if it's not gonna... Oh wow, even with that, my demand is still existent. So let's go ahead and maybe build another big one here. Okay, yeah, we got some office buildings rolling in, which is good. Let's keep going here with some mid-sized buildings. Oh, did I screw up this zone? I made it, 6 by 5. So let me maybe remove this chunk and then I'll re-delete this building. There we go. All of these buildings are the exact same height. So let's make sure to have a number of smaller buildings as well. You know, we don't always want to have these massive skyscrapers coming up. Maybe another one over here. There we go. We have some difference in height at least. And that should do it for our demand. Let's see here. Can we artificially plop down some commercial buildings maybe? Just to at least provide some jobs for the people in the area. Wow, this building looks like it'll fit perfectly right here. Yeah, that's quite all right. And then let's see here, the marvelous marble. Let's go ahead and plop it. Oh, nice. I think this building would be pretty cool. Maybe if I space it out a little bit, we'll have like a nice park or something in front of this building. Because it's not exactly wall to wall. There we go. Oh, look at that. We got our very first skyscrapers coming in. Got some little tiny ones, some big ones. Very cool. And you know what's awesome, guys, is I think this city is going to be a relatively small size, so maybe we can avoid having too many repeat skyscrapers. You know, it seems to be quite an issue in Bixton, for example, but maybe here we can avoid that altogether. So let's continue on building some medium-sized skyscrapers. For some reason, I have a ton of office demand all of a sudden, but that's good. Yeah, so these two buildings are quite similar, but they're different variants, so I'm okay with that. And this is awesome, guys. So these office towers are going to generate a ton of income. You know, these are really, really heavy income earners in any city, so it's really nice to have them. But what else can we do here? We have no commercial demand whatsoever, despite all of these favorable conditions. I really don't know what's going on here, guys, but you know what? We just got to keep plowing through. Maybe things will turn around. What is this building anyway? This is a square center. This seems like a big convention hall or something. This might be pretty cool to have like in between some buildings somewhere. Yeah, this would actually fit nicely here. Let's do it. Yeah, that's really cool. Actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna move this and plop it over in this area just because in St. Petersburg there is a giant stadium that is kind of in this corner of downtown. Now I know this is not a stadium. It looks like a convention center. Oh crap, it doesn't fit. Okay, never mind. It's good over here. But yeah, I was gonna say St. Petersburg in real life has a big stadium. Like it would kind of be in this corner of downtown, and I was gonna plop this building in its place, but it doesn't look like it's gonna fit in this case. Oh my God, look at this, guys. Woo! Our demand is back, yes. We have some low density demand as well, which is really, really exciting. We got a ton of medium density demand as well. I love that because we can actually start building a proper, you know, properly mixed downtown. So it's gonna be a bit challenging because none of these buildings really fit the whole Florida vibe, especially row housing, right? There's no New York or Boston style row housing in Florida that I know of anyway. But in downtown, we're just gonna have to make a bit of an exception and plop some of it. Now this is kind of unfortunate that these zones are not working, but thankfully we have our new tiny city park that we can plop right adjacent to this building. Looks wonderful. And then let's continue on here. Let's get some nice buildings in. Oh, you know what? I can't forget to put down some parking lots in downtown. Do we have some long parking lots, but do we have very long parking lots, modest parking lots? I kind of wish they were more deep rather than wide. Oh, this is just motorcycle parking. Okay, here's what I'll do. So I'll build a small road just like this, and then I'll plop a parking lot. right in behind here. Oh, we got 2 matching buildings. That's fine. They're eventually going to upgrade and change looks and stuff. So I'm not too worried about similar buildings just yet. So St. Petersburg in real life is still a relatively flat city, and there's still a ton of parking in its downtown core. So we're definitely not going to want to shy away from too much parking. Now I do want the city to remain functional, and I don't want to like overcrowd it with parking. But, you know, we still need to have a decent amount. Can I get this parking lot to fit here? If it behaves. Oh, yep, there we go. Boom. Nice parking lots here. Fits perfectly there. Oh, yeah, and my mistake, guys. Just looking at Google Maps now, I thought the stadium was in this corner. It turns out to be in this corner over here of what would be downtown. But I'm still fine with this this stadium here, or this square center. So let's continue on here. Let's maybe get a couple of high density high rises in the city. Let's get a couple of big ones in here. Try to space them out nicely. And then in between of all of these buildings, we're going to place a mixture of... Oh, you know, I haven't even gotten into some mixed housing yet. I can't forget that. Here, let's do some mixed housing right next to the fire hall to make sure that we're covered. Mixed housing is always very important. Oh, is this zone taken up? Here, maybe I can do like a little alleyway that goes out through the back here. Oh, it looks like it's building. Okay, I was just afraid of it being taken up by another piece of zone. But I think I'm still going to build a small road. Here, let me pause this. I'm gonna build a small road here. Overlapping item. And, oh, that's kind of weird. Here, let's do this. And then we'll build a path in behind here. And that has unfortunately not done anything for our zones. Can I do this, or will they move back? Nope, there we go. Perfect. Actually, if I demolish this, yeah, that's fine. I'll just redo a path. There we go. All right, guys. Exciting stuff. Let's keep on going with some mixed housing over here. And then maybe some more row houses in between. I want to be careful with the row houses though, because I don't want them to be too long, because then they have yards. But I think if they're 4 deep, you know, they don't really have that much of a yard to where it becomes a problem. But sometimes when you build these wall-to-wall lots, like really deep, they have big yards, which is kind of unrealistic for an urban center. So we want to avoid that. Let's keep going here. Let's plop down maybe another little... No, not a small plaza. Actually, let's see here. Maybe a small park. That's gonna destroy this building though. I think I might just do one of these again. They're pretty versatile, these little parks. You can kind of squeeze them into anywhere. All right, guys, this is really exciting. I was kind of getting worried in this episode that we weren't going to have enough demand to really get anything done. But looks like we're in decent shape now. So let's maybe plop down a couple of extra parking lots here. Yeah, look at that. We got a basic downtown skyline going. Awesome. Let's see how our economy's doing. So as you can see, the debt is slowly shrinking. Our monthly balance is slowly on the rise. So if things keep up the way they are, then we should be pretty well set for the future. We just gotta essentially keep expanding and hoping that our demand stays in the positive. There, we'll fill in all of these empty spaces. Now, I don't have any commercial demand for some reason, which is a little weird, but it is what it is, I guess. Hopefully, it'll eventually just start to trickle in, because having shopping is very important in a downtown area. Oh yeah, look at this, guys. This urban firehouse fits perfectly within all these wall-to-wall buildings. This looks awesome. You know what, I'm just gonna do big zone of wall-to-wall buildings here. Actually, maybe I'll do another parking lot. Okay, and what else do we have here for large buildings? I want to make sure that we have enough room for some of these large buildings. This building would look kind of cool over here. Big old office building. Yeah, let's do it. There. And some of these buildings are a little too tall for my liking. Like, this would be a little overkill. This one might do, but it's a little on the tall side. And already downtown is looking a little taller than what I would like. Because like I said, in St. Petersburg, there's not much of a skyline. You really have to go to Tampa to see an impressive skyline. But I'll just keep it as is. There we go. Well, I'm happy, guys. This is pretty awesome. Yeah, so we've got our basic city started. So, like I was explaining, downtown here will kind of be reserved for this core, and then the rest of the city will pretty much all be low density residential. So, well, there we have it, guys. I think that's going to do for this episode. Really, my goal for this episode was just to get things started. And for downtown, at least, I really want to focus on some detailing. You know, I want to get into the nitty gritty, you know, building out some of these parks and things like that. So I'm really going to be taking my time. But I'm so glad that I mostly fixed this demand issue. Yeah, we have no commercial demand for some reason. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I was really nervous at the start of this episode. I was like, is anything gonna build at all? But it looks like we've turned things around, and things are shaping up quite nicely here to get things started in St. Patricksburg. And along with the extra detailing that's gonna have to be done, guys, it looks like the water has receded quite a bit in the area. So like all of this used to be underwater. I'm gonna just have to fix this up, you know, add some bushes and stuff. These are probably gonna be little parks and or neighborhoods. Not too sure yet, but we'll get there eventually. I have so many plans for this city. It's pretty amazing. Can't wait to see what it becomes. So anyways, guys, that is going to be it for this episode. I thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, let me know down in the comments what you think. Don't forget to leave a like as well, and certainly don't forget to subscribe to the channel for many, many more videos to come. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.